A lot of people are still going to join. So welcome everybody. And this is special for us because we've been doing this now for just over 2 years, and this is our first event for this year, and we're going strong. Though we have been discussing changing the format a little bit, so there might be a few changes coming up. We'll share that as we go along. For now, let's look into these New Year's resolutions. So I don't have a lot of cameras on Zoom at the moment, so I don't know, if it's going to have value if I say, if you've been making New Year's resolutions, please, raise your hand, because there we've got that. Brigitte.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a few. So yeah, we need to discuss these things and decide if they're a good thing or not, because I can tell you from a hypnotherapy practice, Jan is very busy. Mostly most businesses, Jan is quiet. For us, Jan is probably one of the busiest months in the year because of all these New Year's resolutions, right? So, yeah. In any case, Brigitte, Claudia, I don't know if that's your experience. Do you also experience a lot of people wanting to, do some hypnosis for their resolutions?
I think there is. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I think there is a quality in the time of January where there is just anticipation, it's a new beginning, and we kind of, I mean, it makes no logical sense just because the calendar is that way, but I think there is generally an anticipation. Now this year, now this needs to be sorted, and I think that's what it is, so come June, other things have taken over, and now we might as well leave it to next year. Yeah. No, I think it's a human quality. We want things to happen, and it didn't, and you're going to tell us why. And first we have to digest the failures and the disappointment and the frustration, perhaps. And then the new year, it's like, in a way, I understand it. I mean, every morning that you wake up is a new opportunity. You had a reset, and it's a new opportunity to start fresh, to see things differently. And I think people do that also with the new year.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's discuss our topic, which is why New Year's resolutions often fail and what actually allows progress to stick, right? So my intent and my plan for tonight is to share with you a few tips and tricks that you can use to achieve more success with your New Year's resolutions, and also, a little hypnosis experience where you can integrate some of the benefits of our discussion. There we go. I'm just admitting someone. Right. Okay. So the first thing we just want to do quickly is we just want to set up a little bit of background. And this is important because it's foundational. So this foundational aspect enables us to, to make sense of the mind and, how and why it does what it does. And we use this model that was popularized by Freud of the conscious and the subconscious mind. And it's not, there's no line in your head where we can say, this is your conscious mind, this is your subconscious mind. It's basically just a model, and it's like a map, it's like a GPS. And, in some instances, a map works better than reality because, for functional reasons, when you want to turn here or turn there, it's better to have the map than to actually have the territory itself. And that is why we use this map. And this map says we've all got these two parts to us, a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. And the conscious mind is that rational, logical, analytical part of you, also known as that adult part of you, that normally sets those goals, right? So this year we are going to lose weight, or, this year we are going to be more active, go to the gym more, or, be nicer to the kids or the partner, or, maybe make the business work, or go for some business opportunities, or eat less donuts, or whatever that is for you, right? And that is that logical analytical part that kind of decides where this is going to go. And then there's this other part. This is the subconscious mind. And this is a very powerful part of us. In actual fact, it's the most powerful aspect. It's a part that regulates everything. And yet that part is it's like a child. We often refer to it as the inner child, right? And because it acts and feels and reacts like a child, the problem is when you set up New Year's resolutions that is not in alignment with your subconscious mind, in other words, with your inner child, you are actually setting yourself up for a failure. You're setting yourself up for a mess. Because if it doesn't support, it can easily have a very negative effect on your resolutions. So if you want to achieve something and your inner child goes, it's boring, or it's too hard work, or doesn't see the instant gratification in it, it's just going to withdraw its support. And because it regulates the body up to cellular level, meaning if it withdraws its support, it means it withdraws energy, which means energy slumps. You don't have energy for what you want to achieve, and or motivation. So even though you might have all these logical, motivations and reasons for going for what you're going for, if the inner child doesn't support it, it's going to be hard. Now, there are ways around this, and there's the way most people do is the hard way, with something called determination, pushing through, and, with persistence and determination. And the problem with persistence and determination is if you go that route, you're actually bullying your inner child into giving you what you want. And it often works. And it can often work for years and years and years and years. Guess what? Each time you bully your inner child, a little bit of resentment builds, a little bit of, internal resistance builds. And then that inner child will reach a point. For some people, it's earlier in life, others later. But that inner child just goes, I've had enough. And then it starts sabotaging the things you want to achieve in different ways, often just slumping the energy, taking motivation away. It can even affect your health. So, here in the background information part of our journey this evening, I think it's important to realize that you're going to do so much better if you make friends with your inner child. If you can build a culture of cooperation instead of trying to bully it into helping you achieve what you want to achieve. So that is the first step. And the question is how? How do you do that? How do you build a culture of cooperation with your inner child, right? This is the thing, because, for the most part, most people are not even aware that they've got these different aspects. They just think it's all them. And it's important to understand that just like you would treat a real child, if you treat a real child in certain ways, you're going to get a certain reaction. The same thing happens with yourself. And let's face it, the way we treat ourselves so often is a huge problem. In any case, I just want to switch this off here because I seem to be lagging a little bit. Claudia, am I lagging a little bit? I wonder what's going on, because we were fine earlier. I don't understand why it's doing that. Are you muted? I think you're muted. I can't hear you.
I said, yes, you're lagging, and the internet connection has deteriorated a little.
Is it?
So the resolution is not as good as it was in the beginning, but it's still good enough. We can
Is the
hear
quality
you.
good enough? Can we continue?
Yes, of course. We want to hear what you have to say.
Should I just switch my video off and you can follow the voice?
No, no, no. We need to see. We need to see. Just continue. It will stabilize. I'm pretty sure it will.
Okay. Let me just check. I don't think I'm running any updates here. This is very strange. Nothing seems to be updating. No. Okay. Oh, well, then let's just continue. See how it goes. Okay. So how are we going to do that? How are we going to get alignment with our subconscious mind? And I just got some papers here and I just want to make sure I follow my plan for tonight because we want to have enough time for hypnosis experience. And the first thing that we're going to talk about is on our list is, what is your criteria for success? And this is a big part of the problem, right? Because, and I'm sure so many of our practitioners that's listening tonight has the same experience where, you ask a client, how will you know that you are achieving? How will you know that you're becoming successful, in what you're doing? And the answer so often is, I'll know I'm succeeding if I lose this 30 kilograms, or I'll know I'm succeeding in business when I can buy a sports car and a holiday house on a tropical island, or I'll know I'm succeeding when I can find and marry the partner of my dreams, right? And these are the kind of almost magical thinking we get in terms of that urge or desire for an instantaneous result, right? They just want that so quickly. And the problem with that kind of thinking is that, when this is a person's intent or aim, when you set up New Year's resolutions, what happens? You go out, you go to the gym once, maybe twice, and now, you get on the scale or you look in the mirror and nothing has happened yet, right? And now the inner child, remember it's a child. And I don't know if you can remember, you take a child and you plant a seed. And then 5 minutes later, they go outside and they look at the soil and they say, where's the flower? Right? Or you're going on a trip, you're going far and you're barely out the gate and then they go, are we there yet? Right? So they don't understand this concept of time. They want this instantaneous gratification, this instant dopamine hit, which is, by the way, why social media is so, incredibly addictive for so many people, because they get these little dopamine hits all the time, right? So how are you measuring your success? If you are measuring your success in this way, where it's a huge thing that needs to be achieved before you can be successful, you are actually setting the whole thing up for failure before you even start, right? It doesn't work that way. The mind doesn't work that way. So how are we going to align? How can we get progress or a sense of achievement every step of the way, right? This is what we're after. And how are we going to do that? Now, if you can do this with your New Year's resolutions, something amazing is going to happen. You're going to be able to persist and you're going to be able to achieve those results without having to force it, without having to use your determination and your willpower, right? Okay, so let me see here. So what happens? What happens if we do not have conscious and subconscious alignment, right? Well, if you've chosen something and the inner child doesn't like it, what's going to happen? It's going to start cutting your energy for that. It's going to start cutting your motivation for that. And before you know it, all you're going to have left is enough energy to think about it. You're not going to have enough energy to take action, right? And this is where so many people end up, where they're having all of these thoughts about their goal. They take no action. They're just thinking about it all the time. It's almost like an analysis paralysis where the mind gets stuck in a loop and they just keep thinking over and over, normally the same kind of thoughts around their goal. And because of this, it fizzles out. Eventually, the person goes, it doesn't seem to be worth it. And then they give up, right? And so what does it show us? What does it teach us about allowing the mind to just go into thought and looping versus taking action, right? And then the excuses come before they, before it fizzles out. They'll go, you know what? This is a rational mind that does that. I'll wait till the economy improves, or maybe I have to wait till summer, or maybe I'll wait till winter, or all these little excuses could keep popping up as to why they're not achieving yet, right? So how are we going to get conscious subconscious alignment? And the first step, the first thing you want to do to be able to get your powerful subconscious mind to support you in this journey is to find the reasons why you want to do this. Now, this might seem so obvious, but you would be so surprised how often we are influenced by the people around us, and then we end up adopting their goals, what your mom wants for you, what your partner wants for you, what your kids wants for you, what the people at the office wants. Or what society kind of propagates would be success or achievement or whatever. And we buy into these things. And as we buy into these things, our powerful subconscious mind might not be buying into it. And then you have a part of you that's stepping on the accelerator and a part of you that's stepping on the brake, all at the same time. And then these goals, they tend to just cause frustration. They do the opposite of what we wanted. And, this is what we want to move away from by asking why. So a very obvious question. Before you do anything, ask yourself, what's your motivation? Why do you want this? Why do you want to achieve this? What do you want to get from it, right? And make a list, And how will you know that your powerful subconscious mind is in alignment with this? Well, you'll feel it in the form of excitement. If you feel excitement as you write these reasons down why you want this new sports car, or why you want to lose this 10 or 20 or 30 kilograms, or why you want to meet this person, if you feel a sense of excitement as you write these things, it means it's in alignment. If you are writing them out of a logical, analytical, rational, this is what a person of my age in this phase of their life is supposed to be doing and going and achieving, guess what? You're actually setting yourself up for a lot of frustration. And, remember, there's a child inside, and the child can get very, very, very excited if these are the kind of things that it enjoys. So the other side of it is, if there are certain things that needs to happen, for instance, health-wise, and it's important for longevity to be there for the people you love. And now the inner child does not want to get excited about going to the gym. It does not want to get excited about not eating donuts. It's kind of, because it's a child, right? It wants those things. You need to figure out how you can motivate in your subconscious mind's values. In other words, how can you link it with what you want at a deeper level, right? And this is very, very important. If you can link it, and the more you can link it, and I recommend using a list and keep reviewing your list and adding to your list. And whenever motivation or energy slumps, read through your list. You'll feel the energy pick up again. Keep adding to that list and finding more reasons why you want to be or do or have whatever it is that you want to be, do, and have, right? Okay, I hope that makes sense. Claudia, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Well, you know, one could add, and I don't want to interfere, but one could add the angle of mm, taking it on a broader scale for those people who believe in that kind of my purpose. I'm here in life, and is there a plan for me? Why am I here? For what am I supposed to do with this life? And then you could add to this, in addition to the subconscious, but reachable through the subconscious, is what I want to achieve in alignment with the purpose of me being alive.
Mm.
So material things are I don't think consciousness understands a sports car, but it definitely understands the reasons of why I want a sports car. So if I want to feel good and valued and worthwhile, and I want to stand at the robot and I want to have these looks from the side because I'm having this fantastic car and it makes me feel good, it could possibly be supported, because I think ultimately, I think we in to have a joyride. I don't think we know that. So you could add that angle too, which only supports what you're saying. It just takes it to a deeper level. But that's, yeah, that's
I
so
love that.
important.
I
So
love that.
important.
That's aligning with your purpose. And I think if you can align with your purpose, on top of enjoying it, on top of having fun, and on top of having subconscious support, it's just going to take it to a whole different level, isn't it? And I can almost feel that there could be another live stream in there, right? Is how do you align with your purpose? Claudia, don't you want to let those gears start turning there? Because I think that could just be gorgeous,
Well,
right?
that's what I'm working on at the moment for the last 3 months, putting a whole module together. It is so exciting, and immersing myself into this always becomes a felt experience for me. I can't do it otherwise. I have to live my work. And I think what you said, the deepest truth that you shared here is when you feel, it doesn't necessarily have to be excitement. It can be a sense of, I have arrived, or I'm here, or an opening, or clarity, or my heart sings, and it can be a moment. It doesn't have to last for a long time. I think these are all signals of alignment. And I think what you refer to as the inner child, like subconscious, is almost like second in command to consciousness. But how we feel it in our system is the same. So if we could have more awareness of knowing and taking stock of, how does this make me feel? How does this make me feel? And why am I not feeling great? Why am I not feeling this? I often like to compare things like when you have a hobby, the time flies, disappears. You don't regard researching and learning something as an effort. It all becomes easy and effortless because there's obviously an alignment. And that is so important. So you can look at it from various levels, but if the alignment is not there, then it becomes a bulldozing, a pushing, a matter of willpower and discipline, and that is tiring. And that will cause havoc on the body. It will cause havoc on the nervous system, on your psychology. It's exhausting just even thinking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Thank you for that, Claudia. And I still feel that there's so much potential there for another topic. Well, you've been busy with it already, but I mean for a live stream like this. Any case, so how are we going to reevaluate that success criteria there? Right? We've already discussed the importance of the why and to get conscious subconscious alignment. But the next thing is after figuring out why you're doing what you're doing, is how are we going to reevaluate our success criteria? Yes. What is success to you? Yeah. remember, if you keep it these massive goals and these massive achievements and these massive outcomes, you're going to frustrate that inner child and going to have to either bully it or it's going to give up. So one way of doing it is to maybe make the success criteria when you get feedback, you are successful. Now, what does it mean when you get feedback? In order to get feedback from the environment, someone else, even your body, in terms of feelings and emotions, you need to take action. If you don't take any action, there's no feedback. So what does that mean? It means any action leading to any kind of feedback means you have learned something, you have grown, which means you are successful. Because if it hasn't given you the outcome you want yet, at least it's shown you what not to do to achieve that outcome, right? So there's growth, there's learning from feedback. And this is a very, very powerful way of setting up yourself for success by deciding that any kind of feedback, and it doesn't matter if it's good, if it's bad, if it's indifferent, if it's ugly, right? It doesn't matter what kind of feedback, just makes it any kind of feedback means growth because you learn from it. And growth and learning means success. So you're becoming more successful. And that means that every step of the journey, you can get a little dopamine hit. Every step of the journey, your success criteria triggers can fire and let your body mind experience these dopamine and endorphins and feel good feelings. Not massive, explosions and fireworks, but this little kind of supporting pops and squiggles of energy that's showing you that you're on the right track, right? So this is how I recommend you set up your success criteria. And if you find yourself making these fantasies or these huge goals or these ideals, it's fine to daydream. But keep in mind that this kind of superstitious or fantastical thinking actually sets a person up for failure because it's very rare for reality to keep up, So if you are going to do those kind of things, do it in a contained environment, preferably with a journal, and just make some notes. And then when you're done, kind of bring it back to, okay, I've thought this, I've had all these ideas now, but what am I going to do? What action I'm going to take now, even if it's tiny, smallest little action, what I'm going to do now to get some feedback, to get something going. So the success vibration starts building. So you can start building momentum. You see, it's all about momentum. And this is important to understand with the mind, is that so often when it comes to the mind, people expect things to just happen, like when you go to the gym, so often people will go, yes, you need to go X amount of time before your bicep will start growing or whatever. But when it comes to the mind, they often just go, well, it should happen with a thought, right? They want it instantaneously. And yet when it comes to the mind, just like bodybuilding or shaping the body or running or exercise, these neural networks needs to build. The success vibration needs to build up. Your resourcefulness in whatever area needs to grow. And this is what we're after, is these incremental little steps that builds and builds, almost like rolling a snowball. When you start, it's tiny and you have to nurse it. And before you know it, it's going down the hill and it's picking up all this momentum. And eventually it's massive. It's like a train. Nothing stops it. You just find yourself achieving over and over the things you want to achieve in your life, right? So it's so important to keep that in mind, that child inside. And how can you be super supportive every little step of the way? Okay, let me have a look at my papers here. I think we're doing great. So, I've got a few examples here. So what could be examples of action? Some people are already thinking, action for me is getting on the scale and say I've lost 5 kilograms. This is not what we're talking about. Action is doing something towards your outcome, right? So smallest little things could be, Googling about it, learning about it, watching a YouTube video about it, possibly even talking to AI about it, right? Writing, making some notes about it. Things that starts building that concrete action, you're moving in a direction, then notice what you feel like as you get it out of your mind that's looping onto paper. And as you process, you'll notice the moment the feedback loop initiates, you'll find yourself starting to refine. You'll actually find yourself making progress. Well, as long as you keep it in your head, you're going to keep wanting to solve imaginary problems. You're going to imagine what could go wrong, and then you're going to try and fix it before even being there, maybe fixing things in your head that wouldn't have been a problem in the first place, right? It's like crossing the bridge before you even get to the bridge. This is what the mind likes doing. It's almost over-analyzing like that, right? So you just kick off that feedback loop by doing something, and then you get started. And initially, when you start something new, any action will do, right? Anything in that direction will suffice. But here's a little guidance I think that could be valuable. And that is, and I don't know if you've ever heard of this. This is called the 80-20 principle. And it basically states that 80% of the results comes from 20% of the input, right? Put another way, 20% of the results comes from 80% of the input. So if you are putting energy into the wrong part of this, the 80%, you could be working very hard and getting virtually no results. So if you trust your inner mind and you trust your intuition, and this is part of what I want to do with the hypnosis with you tonight, is to kind of tweak that intuition of yours a little bit so that you can kind of get a feeling or a sense of what, in whatever goal it is that you want to achieve, what might be the 20% that could give you that 80% of the results, right? And you're going to go after that. So if you start setting that intent and setting that goal of whatever it is you want to achieve, of finding that optimal leverage in terms of getting results, and just kind of motivating your inner mind to find that for you. And then just let your intuition guide you and slowly start taking action. And as you start taking action, you'll find, as you put this request, your powerful subconscious mind will start guiding you more and more towards that 20% of action that's going to give you 80% of those results. Right. And that is what we're after. So there's a little tip for you. Something else is you could actually just put a calendar on your wall, and every single day that you do something, doesn't matter how small it is, towards your goal, your New Year's resolution, right? You make a tick mark on that day. And then after a week or two or a month, you look at that wall, at that calendar, you go, wow, look how much I've already done towards achieving this. And now you are building a success vibration, right? Now think of the other way people normally do this. They go to the gym for a day or a week or a month. They get on the scale and they go, oh, they've picked up weight, mostly because they've gained a little bit of muscle. And they are so discouraged. And now they never go back to the gym again, or not for the rest of the year. They waste their contract, Same thing with diets. There's this something, we know this very well in hypnosis, but it's not so well known for a lot of people. It's something called the law of reversed effect. And what that means is, so often when you go after something, it's almost like it resists. It's almost like you get the opposite of what you want. Think of the diet. The moment you go on a diet, you only think of all these wrong things that you're not supposed to be eating. The moment you think of stop smoking, you just get these constant cravings for cigarettes or whatever you smoke, right? And that's that law of reversed effect. And a powerful way of bypassing the law of reversed effect is using this kind of process-orientated way that we just discussed over here. It's a way for you to circumvent so many of the problems that could be blocking a person from achieving. Right. Okay, so I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a lot of depth there. I'm just skimming over it, but we're going to give you just a few practical things that you can go and do and implement for you to be able to, to get this party started, so you can have those New Year's resolutions work for you. Okay, I think looking at my papers, I'm pretty happy. And looking at time, we're doing pretty amazing. So I'm hoping we might even be finished a bit earlier tonight. But I'm curious to know Claudia, do you have anything you want to add?
Um, I have a little, I don't know what you call it in English, when you have something that reminds you of something. What do you call it in English?
Claudia, you're very silent, quiet for right now. I don't know why.
Okay, is it better now?
Much better, thank you.
Okay, sorry, I was leaning back. I don't know what you call it in English when you have something that will remind you of what you need to do, a word or a sign or a color or whatever.
Like a little trigger almost.
Yeah, yeah. And like in school, when we wanted to remember, when we write a test and we have to remember something, we had a little trick to remember that, and there surely there's a name for it. And so all I want to say is how you can combine exactly what you've just said, Arno. So the emotion of excitement or fulfillment or clarity or even just peace, feeling grounded, could all be signs that you're on the right track. So these are emotions. And if you look at that word, emotion, it means, if you want to see it that way, in order to have these emotions, you have to get into motion. So you have to do some activity, something, as Arno says, in order to achieve that. So you have this constant feedback loop if you do it that way. So if you just in your mind write emotion with an E and a hyphen and motion, that might remind you this feel good feeling that you're after with a big resolution, and even with these little interim goals, you need the motion to get the emotion. And then you remember.
I love that. Yeah. If there's no movement,
Hmm.
you know, then we only end up with this kind of overthinking things and analyzing it, until it falls apart. Kind of just doing a constant risk analysis in the mind. And what if this happens? And what if that happens? Just keep solving problems that doesn't exist, right?
You know what it also is, Arno, is that when we want something, even if we want something back, like we've been there before, I did way less then, yeah, for example, but we're not becoming that person of the past. So we always, with any kind of resolution, we're becoming a new person. And if you look at our nervous system and you look at our mind and our consciousness, what is its purpose? Its purpose is to keep us safe. So it's actually, we shouldn't be frustrated when it gives us all these questions and all these what ifs, because it doesn't know yet who you will be when you have that sports car or you have lost that weight. And it doesn't understand the whole concept of that. So it rather wants to pull you back into the safety of the familiarity. So it's no, don't get frustrated when this happens. It's just doing its job, right? And that's why when you bulldoze and force, that reaction will rather be louder and harder, and your frustration therefore will be more. And that's why constant motions towards it means it kind of desensitizes your whole system towards the change that you actually want to invite into your being. So from that level, it makes also sense what you're saying. It's very important. It's actually, I think, with exception, everything works with exception. I think that's the only way to do this. Especially, you don't want to have just one New Year's resolution, never do it again. We constantly strive for a better version of us, constantly. So this is a life skill. This is something you want to embed into your basics, like brushing your teeth. What have I done today? And it doesn't matter what little notes you make in your mind or on the walls or wherever. What motions have I done? Have I pushed too hard? Is the pullback from my system inside saying, no, 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 no. What if, we can't do this? right? Then I may have even been pushing too hard. Then maybe I need to pull back a little bit, because there needs a little bit this time of trust needs to develop into the new consciousness of who you're going to be as you start achieving your goal.
Absolutely, allowing that success vibration to build,
Mm.
I love that.
I love it that we have the same thing that we're saying, and we're saying it in completely different language, which is
Yeah,
beautiful. And that's what is so amazing. It's the yin and yang I always talk about. So it's the
yeah.
same thing, but it's different language. And this is so beautiful for the people, because everybody has a different perspective and understands things from a different perspective. So by complementing each other, that always has worked very well.
I love that. Thank you, Claudia. So much fun, so much fun. So, any case, at this point in time, I am hoping that our audience, that everybody watching, and I know a lot of people, I mean, these videos during the night can easily get 300, 350 views, as people go and watch it. And I hope that you, as you're watching and experiencing this, when you get to this point of feeling motivated to change your approach a little bit. And I'm hoping that you've kind of realized, if that's what you were doing, that you might have been setting those New Year's resolutions too big, too grandiose. And that's maybe why they might not have been working the way you wanted to. And now instead, just moving in the direction, it's more about the direction than the end result. Now, there's this story about the ship that when it leaves the port, and if it's just off by a fraction of a degree, by the time it reaches the other side of the planet, it misses its goal by hundreds of kilometers. And so the short version is that the direction for us is so, so, so important. Consistency and persistence in moving in the right direction will give you that result. So in any case, what I'm thinking now, and this is the highlight of the uni, is that we do a little hypnosis session just for you to integrate some of these benefits, and obviously with the mind. And in the session will only be what we've discussed here tonight. So if there's any part of you that doesn't resonate with everything, do know and understand that your mind can adjust and adapt to the suggestions and only take what is uniquely relevant to you. So if you are somebody that loves feeling the adrenaline, going for big goals and just feeling the burn and letting that adrenaline and cortisol and glucose burn through your body until you achieve it, then by all means, you don't have to accept the suggestions around using this kind of process or that aspect, but you could accept the suggestions around some of the other things, like trusting your intuition and finding the 20% that gives 80% of the results. Because unless you believe in the struggle, everybody can benefit from that, right? Okay, so that's it. What I've done is I've posted a little video clip on all the groups, and it's a little bit video clip about the misconceptions of hypnosis. And if you are new here, because we've been doing this for more than 2 years now, I recognize a lot of the names in the attendance list here. But if you are new here, I hope you watch that video. And a summary of that video is to understand that hypnosis is something you allow. It's not something somebody does to you. It's something you experience by allowing it, and you actually hypnotize yourself. So all hypnosis is self-hypnosis, even if it is with the guidance of somebody else's voice. So that's just important little recap for everybody to remember that you are always in charge, you're always in control, and you will only allow those suggestions that's beneficial to you. Okay, then because we are now lately aiming to make these sessions a bit shorter, I think we're going to skip the bathroom break, if that's okay. And we're just going to go straight into it and have an experience. And I am hallucinating that everybody is in agreement with that. Yeah, there goes a couple of thumbs ups. So, there are so many different ways of going into hypnosis. And on a platform or forum like this, one of my favorite ways of assisting people into the hypnotic state is by just using your awareness. So just for a moment, as you're sitting there, and I hope you've made yourself comfortable. Let's just double check that. Make sure you're sitting comfortably. It's also in that video clip I posted. But if you are lying down, um, lying down often is a message to the body mind to sleep. So maybe find a spot where you can possibly sit comfortably and just balance your head comfortably on your shoulders, and maybe make sure it's a moment where you won't be interrupted. And then go ahead and allow your awareness to drift outwards and just become aware of your space and your place there, wherever you're at, you know. And I don't know what sounds you have in the background over here. Over here is very warm tonight, so I've got some fans going, so I can hear some fans in the background. And for some of you, maybe people walking around the space or cars outside, possibly even dogs in the distance. All the natural, normal sounds, evening sounds of that space and that place you are in. And just acknowledging everything out there. Maybe start way out there on the outside and just acknowledge everything in your space. And once you've acknowledged all of that, just for now, it means all of that becomes unimportant as you allow your attention to drift inwards. And just in the space, the room where you're in now, and just acknowledge everything there, the furniture, the sounds, there anybody else, their presence, any other background sounds. And now, having acknowledged all of that, it means even that becomes unimportant just for now. Because you have an intent of this experience, it means you can allow your attention to drift inwards and become aware of your posture, become aware of your breathing, become aware of the little gap, the little moment of silence between the in-breath and the out-breath, or the out-breath and the in-breath. And notice that you can allow your attention to drift right into that now. And as you allow your attention to drift right into that little moment of silence, if you've not already done so, go ahead and close your eyes and relax. Relax into this experience now, knowing that deeper you go into this experience, the more the gateways and portals and doorways to your powerful inner mind opens for you to get maximum benefit here tonight. That's right. And then go ahead and allow your attention to continue to drift deeper and deeper inside. And as you continue to allow a part of your attention to drift deeper and deeper inside, bring another part of your attention to your eyes and relax every tiny little muscle, nerve, and fiber in and around your eyes completely now. Relaxing to the point where your eyelids simply just won't care to open. And then make it your choice to hold on to that relaxation now. While holding on to that relaxation, allow that relaxation to spread from your eyes, your nose, your cheeks, your forehead, through your entire head now, into your ears, your lips, your mouth. You might even notice your tongue starting to go heavy inside your mouth. As you allow that relaxation to spread down your neck, your throat, your shoulders, your upper arms, all the way down, down, down your elbows, all the way down into your forearms, into your wrists, and into your hands now. And if there are any thoughts that come up, they're absolutely welcome. In actual fact, we don't even care for thoughts. You could even imagine, visualize, or pretend. It's like a little boat drifting away, taking all the thoughts right along with it. And that's okay to let these thoughts go for now, because you can have the ones you want back later with much more clarity and certainty, as you allow this relaxation to double and deepen now, because you can. Allow this relaxation to double and deepen as it moves back up your arms, your elbows, your upper arms, your shoulders, your neck. And in a moment, not yet, but in a moment, and this relaxation moves down your spine, you can allow your entire body to become loose, limp, and heavy. So very comfortably relaxed now, because our bodies are connected to our spines with nerves and muscles and so on. You can even imagine it's like a light, lighting up your vertebra one at a time, causing that relaxation to go all the way down, 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 Now, go ahead and allow that relaxation to start moving down the front, your chest, your stomach. And I don't know what this relaxation feels like in your stomach. Maybe it's a heavy relaxation. Maybe it's a warm relaxation. Or maybe it's just a natural, normal relaxation that continues down to your hips, your buttocks, your upper legs, all the way down, down, down your knees, all the way down into your calves, into your ankles, into your feet now. You might notice there's a part of your body that's a little or a lot more relaxed than the rest. Maybe a hand or a foot or an arm or a leg, or maybe your stomach, or maybe even your entire body now. Go ahead and focus your attention on that part. And as you do, notice how the relaxation in that part doubles and deepens. And as the relaxation in that part doubles and deepens, notice how the relaxation starts spreading now from that part through your entire body, and enjoying how good that feels to relax and let go now. And as your body continues to become more and more comfortably relaxed, you can allow your mind to follow into this relaxation now. By imagining, visualizing, pretend you're in a space or a place where you can relax completely now. And I don't know where that is for you. For some, it might be fields and fields of beautiful flowers. Or for others, it might be on a mountaintop or close to rivers, lakes, fountains, waterfalls, the ocean, maybe your own backyard. Wherever that may be for you, go there inside your mind and notice what about this space and this place is so relaxing to you right now. And there in this space and place, if you're not already doing so, make yourself comfortable. Almost as if you can drift off into a dream world now, where everything and anything is possible. Almost like a dream within a dream, right? As you allow yourself to drift off into this dream world. And in this dream world, allow your mind to connect to, one of these New Year's resolutions, or one of these goals, or one of these plans. It might be a new one, a recent one, or it might be one of those you've just been coming along year after year after year, not quite happening, right? Just go ahead and pick one. And if nothing presents right now, feel free to just follow along with the process, knowing that it integrates to the deepest levels, which means you can use it later. But if there's something, go ahead and just bring that up inside your mind. And now, as you do that, set an intent. Whatever this is that you want to achieve, it follows rules. Everything has rules. And just like that 80-20 principle, there is some things that you can do, some actions that you can take, 20%, that'll give you 80% of the results. What does this mean? It means if you set the right intent, your powerful inner mind can guide you to those 20% inputs, so you can get maximum results with this goal, this resolution, or this outcome you have in mind. And that's all we want to do. We just set the intent. We do not want to think about it or try and figure that out right now. Just set that intent right now. Ask your powerful inner mind to find the 20% that gives most of the results, 80%, sometimes 90% of the results. And then trust that your powerful inner mind will show you the way, that maybe these ideas will just pop into your mind, or you'll wake up in the morning with them. Or maybe as you're driving somewhere, you'll just get a sense of intuition or guidance that will allow you to start moving in the right direction. And that is the first little gift I want to give you tonight, is to just give yourself this instruction, to allow you to give your mind this instruction, to allow your intuition to guide you to the 80-20 principle to achieve. And the next thing we want to add is softening that success criteria, right? So now that we've discussed it, go ahead and find yourself being able to implement this. Find yourself being able to move or change the success criteria to utilizing feedback instead of being so outcome dependent. Rather just go, well, as long as I'm moving in the right direction, it's happening. And then if you use the 80-20 principle, you'll accelerate and you'll get there faster and faster. And just set this intent, add this to your list of intents for tonight, that you want to soften that success criteria and you want to use feedback. And maybe make this and let it switch right in like a Tupperware lid closing, like popping into place. And just let it seal inside with this intent of allowing the success criteria to be more supportive, something that can help you get more fulfillment and enjoyment from living and achieving those goals. Framing it to learning, because when you learn, you are growing, which means you are successful. And then these mental loops, right? These constant analysis paralysis, right? If you are one of those people that have been having any of that, something interesting happens now as you catch your mind starting to do that. It's almost like for a moment you step away from yourself and you look at yourself, and it's almost like you want to laugh at you. You see the humor in this, and you go, there I go again, overthinking things, getting stuck in a mental loop. And as you laugh at yourself, it's so easy to break the cycle and just go, you know what? I'm going to do something. I'm going to take some action, see what the feedback is, learn from the feedback, change what I'm doing, and keep adapting and changing until I get better and better results. And that's it. It's a simple process, very, very powerful process that can enable you to achieve the things you want to achieve. And then the last thing for tonight is just acknowledging every step of the way, acknowledging you and acknowledging your importance every step of the way. Because so often what we achieve and what we do and what we have becomes more important to us in our own minds. And that is nonsense. Nothing that you achieve, nothing that you have, nothing that you do would have been there if it weren't for you, which means you are the most important in all of this. And that's why it's so important to acknowledge your own importance, not in an ego kind of way, but in an honest, authentic kind of way, and realizing your value. And by doing this, everything you do, every output, every thought, every action will have more value, will hit harder and achieve more, because it comes from a place of truth, of integrity, of inner strength, being so connected with you and who you are, becoming a human being instead of a human doing, right? And enjoying how good that makes you feel to be finding yourself right now and connecting to this truth, your truth, and noticing that inner strength and that inner support. And if any of this brings up a feel-good feeling inside of you, anywhere in your body, notice where in your body you feel that feel-good feeling the most. Possibly noticing what color it is and identifying it. So maybe, as an example, it's orange and it's in your chest, or it's yellow and it's in your face, or it's green and it's in your shoulder, or anywhere else. Notice where these feel-good feelings are in your body and the color they have. And from now on, whenever you want to tap into this resourcefulness, you can just go to that part of your body and think of that color, and notice how you instantly find yourself being able to connect back with this aspect of you, this aspect that's got these New Year's resolutions under control, right? And now I'm going to count to 5. And with each count, these powerful processes that we covered here tonight on this live stream will continue to integrate and activate and support to the very deepest levels of who you are, for as long as you need and want it in your life. And when I get to 5 and clap my hands, you'll feel refreshed or alert, or what is appropriate for this time of night. I don't know if you're going to go to bed now or what the plans are, but whatever that is, just allow yourself to come to the level when we come out that is appropriate for you to continue to have a beautiful evening, possibly a good night's rest or whatever else you're doing. 1, ensuring all the aspects of who you are into perfect harmony as this powerful process continues to integrate, activate, and support. 2, noting that energy is starting to flow back into your body. 3, allowing these processes to integrate, activate, and support as you become more and more aware of your environment. 4, taking a deep breath in. And 5, eyes open, refreshed. Welcome back. Sure. Look at that. Huh. I hope you're feeling motivated and inspired with your New Year's resolutions.
Sure. Thank you, Arno. Yeah, you want to spring into action now, even if it's a small action.
That's what we want. That's what we want.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. Sure. Okay, well, that's it from us for tonight. I'm glad to see we're pretty much being able to stick to timing. I want to add for everybody that's joining for, for the training coming up, Joburg, we've got our intake now 14, 15 Feb, if I remember correctly. And if I remember correctly, there are actually still 5 seats open. So that class is almost fully booked. So if you haven't reserved your seat there yet, go for it. And then Cape Town coming up 14, 15 March, there's still quite a bit of space there because we still have some time. So if you want to join us and become a hypnosis practitioner or do the self-development, incredible self-development that comes from studying hypnosis, feel free to go and register. And then we've got the self-mastery courses coming up on the 7th of March in both Joburg and Cape Town, which still also has have some good availability. Right. Okay, that's it from me. And then the only other thing is that stay tuned. Like I said, we might be changing the format of these sessions a little bit. We are considering pre-recording because from lots and lots of WhatsApp and email, we find that it seems lots of people want to rather watch a recording than join live, which is understandable. I'm not sure how many people we are tonight between YouTube and Zoom, probably about 50, which is a kind of indication because at one point we had 150 people joining on the evening, and it's come down over time. So like I said earlier, we find 300, 400 people sometimes watch this live stream during the night, the first night that we put it on. So it kind of tells us something of what people want and need. So we might be adapting this a little bit, but it's something that's still in the air. Me and Claudia will discuss. Okay, I think that's it for now. If you are on YouTube, you might as well subscribe over there. You know, it's a good plan to like and subscribe, right? And join the Hypno family. Claudia, anything else you want to add?
No, thank you. I think this was really round, well put, from beginning to end. And I don't know how the others are feeling, but I think we really want to spring into action, small little action springs. Yeah, thank you.
I love that. Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And I hope you have a beautiful evening and that your New Year's resolutions are just working out the way you want them to. Right. Have a good evening.